for inviting me again on Consider This Radio.
Yeah.
And how I got into radio, I love music, and I used to rap. So I just switched lanes, honestly. I mean, the rap thing, I'm not going to say it wasn't working, but I think more so, just wanted my voice to be heard, you know, on a sort of a different platform. And I can, you know, talk for 2 hours, and I can report, because a lot of news is reported maybe only one time. And certain news people really need to know, get the details about it. So I like report news, and then also being an advocate and activist for the murdered and missing. So when I was rapping, I wasn't an activist. You know, I was just doing music. And as I got older, you know, you mature. So I just started doing, you know, different things, but also keeping it positive. So I was always told that I had a voice that needed to be heard. And, you know, when I talk, people, I guess, kind of listen. So I thought about, you know, doing radio. And 4 years now, I want to say, my own show. I've been hosting Focus Radio.
Yeah, we met like 2 years ago at a Thanksgiving event in St. Elizabeth.
Right.
And when he started talking, I said, I heard your voice before. I didn't know where I heard you before, but that was the first thing that I said to him. I know you thought I was probably crazy. Or do people always say that?
I've been certain places and people have heard of Focus.
Yeah.
And then, you know, some people have told me, well, you had that voice, you know, you had that radio voice. And I'm like, well, and even with my job, I deal with a lot of people, a lot of clients. And they're like, I know it's Phil because I remember your voice. So it fits, you know, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not a lot of platforms like, you know, yours and mine that really report the news. Like I say, they don't want you to know. And like you say, a lot of these podcasts and radio shows, I wouldn't say like gossip, but I mean, that's what's hot.
No, they definitely are. I think,
you think so?
I think, yeah, pretty sure. I think your focus is important. Like, you know, again, the missing, politics. I know you had a show before I watched on education. I personally don't dibble into it. I cater my show around the guests. So that's what my show is different each and every time. So my tagline is where all things are considered, because it's not necessarily one topic I talk about all the time, because that's just my personality. But I do think that the lane that you're in is very important, especially when it comes to people of color, because again, it's either reported or not reported at all. So you do need people like yourself, which I can't name many because you're really like, that's your lane and that's what you do. So I definitely think that is needed in regards to honing in on what's important to us, because it's especially important to, again, people of color, period, because we just get so lost in the sauce. And then it's not a huge unity behind it all, like with us independently. And then when you bring the bigger issues, it's definitely, everybody has a different side. So the way that you report the news for us is definitely important. Your show airs every Saturday at 6, right?
6:15.
6:15. Let them know what network they can find you on.
They can download the app, Hustle Firm Radio. And people laugh at me all the time because they say you have a radio show / podcast. But a lot of my marketing, advertising is on Facebook. And the reason why is because Facebook is kind of like, I call it like go-go music at a go-go show, because it's called a response. Like you may say something and instantly you get that message or you get that comment from someone that you can respond to. And don't get me wrong, we got to be careful, you know, with social media and what we put out there, you know, because nowadays that's what it is. It's just social media, and people they will grab their phone, you know, before they turn their TV and look at the news or read a book. So Hustle Firm Radio, that's the app, and then Facebook, and you can also follow me on IG at Field Focus, YouTube, B.O.C.H podcast, and that's B.O.C.H, bringing our children home, and on Twitter at Focus Radio.
I think people do get confused about that, because somebody's always trying to call me a podcast, and I'm like, I'm not a podcast. We have a music license. I'm on TV. But you use social media because, first of all, people not up at 12 o'clock. So, which is why I can't get certain interviews, because when you talk about the go-go, they sleep at 12 o'clock. I even had a couple of them, was like, you're not getting up there early. I'm doing no radio show. So, you have to use social media, but just because you're on social media don't make you a podcast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I definitely understand that. Why do you feel like African Americans are not... This is a dumb question because we all know the answer, right? But I need you to answer it. Why do you feel like people of color are not highlighted when they are missing and or even doing good?
Well, I must say this. It has gotten better. And, while I'm on, your show, I want to thank everyone because it's changing now. And I think that maybe they don't care. And when I say they don't care, maybe the other people, maybe, the Caucasians, maybe they really don't care. I don't know. I mean, I think it's also us. They look at us and say, well, they don't even care about themselves. Look at what's going on within our communities. Black on black crime, we're killing each other, and even with us in the black community, the focus is not on missing people when it should be. And I think, you have to blame media, the police department. I mean, some people are not held accountable. Look at Relisha Rudd case. This case has been going on for almost 7 years now. Nobody's, held accountable for it. And then also I think that we don't push it a lot. Like if we have people missing in our community and we're keeping them on the news every single day till they're found, they're all on social media, and we're doing these events, I think it'll be, then people will say, okay, well, now they know that we really care, so they'll start getting more involved as far as other people. But I can say that it's gotten a lot better. Like now, every day I see like missing people all over social media. Some people on the news, I think the news could do a little better. And I think it's the families. Like if you go to those other states, other places like California, Arizona, it's a young lady named Diana Gonzalez that's been missing since May. And I've been talking to her sister a lot, and she's been on my show twice. And they're getting ready to do like a huge event that's going to be global, nationwide. They're going to stream this event nationwide, as far as a search party looking for Diana. We need to do things like that for Relisha Rudd. But we got to go to the police department. We got to go to the media. We got to go to these foundations and these organizations and say, hey, we want to do an event here right in Southeast, but we want to stream it live. We wanted to go across the 50 states so everybody can be aware of what's going on. But we don't do that. But they do that. Like when white people go missing, they do that. They get media coverage. They on Dateline, NBC. Like every single day, it's like thousands of reports and different stories, when they go missing. But with us, we gotta really show support and show that we care. We gotta bang on the door like, hey, I'm trying to find my little brother, my little sister. Hey, I'm trying to find my folks. You know?
I think that's what, for me, that's what I feel like a part of the biggest issue is. It's our responsibility. Like, I don't get caught up in politics because I feel like if we took care of ourselves, we wouldn't have to worry about what the government is doing because we will be governing ourselves, right? So I think that in every aspect, because as minorities, we have so many different layers that need to be adjusted, that's not adjusted. I mean, you have the missing, education, domestic violence, peer crime. It's so many different layers that we do need to deal with. It is hard to tackle each and every one, but the problem becomes where people only care about certain things when it's knocking on their door. It's not important. If it could be your cousin, it's not that important to you until it's in your house. Exactly. And I think we got to lose that mentality as well. According to CNN, they listed in 2018, there were 424,066 missing children under 18. The most recent, of course, is about 37% of those are people of color. Even more interesting, black people only make up 12% of the population. So 37% out of 400,000 and something is missing.
That's a lot for us.
And then out of the 424,000, overall, we only represent 13% of a population. So even if you break it down even more, that's a lot of our kids.
Right. But it goes
adults.
back. But it goes back to what you just said. The bottom line is, like you just mentioned, domestic violence. We go to sexual abuse. We'll go to, we can say, education. All of these things, right? A runaway may be having issues with at home and not getting the assistance that they need. And I tell people all the time, in our community, with those that 37% with us, I guarantee you, it's so many different levels to the missing. Some people are, some children are taken, and adults are taken for the organs, as far as us being black and strong people of color.
Yeah.
Some are being molested, sexually abused, mentally abused, haven't eaten, haven't gone to school, may want to run away. Some are foster children. Some are on drugs. Some are dealing with a young relationship, domestic violence. A lot of our youth these days are being actually murdered due to domestic violence. And I'm talking 16, 17 years old, right here in D.C., being shot, by their boyfriend or girlfriend. So on so many different levels with that 37%. And then I report some stories, and it's crazy because I'm like, didn't I already report this little girl missing? So I'll go back, and it's been 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, she was reported missing. And then now you're reporting her missing, and now she's pregnant. So it's like, what? What's going on? Why does she keep running away, from home? So we got to look at it.
And that's definitely the first point that you got to check, because I had an issue with my daughter at high school, okay, at one point, because she didn't want to go to school because she was getting bullied at school. So instead of her going to school, she wouldn't go to school. And see, I'm one of them crazy mothers, so I automatically knew it was a problem, right? But like you said, you got to pinpoint what is the issue, because again, children don't know how to communicate. They may not be able to express to you why they're running away, whether it's your partner sexually molesting them, whether they're getting bullied in school by a peer, whether it's the teacher, whether the work is too hard, you don't know. So there's a why to everything, and you got to deal with that why, even if it's embarrassing to you. Like a lot of the parents that have partners in the home, those kids be running away because that man can possibly be. My daughter has 3 friends that have been touched by their mother's boyfriend. So there are reasons why the kids are leaving. Even if you and the child aren't getting along, that happens too, right? It could just be you and your child just not seeing eye to eye. They don't want to be in the house, whatever. But you do got to deal with the why initially, because if you can knock that out the way, then you can stop them going back and forth. Because like you said, if the girl left, and then she came back pregnant, and then she disappeared again. Right. Why are you doing that? And who got her pregnant?
Exactly.
Did it come from the house?
Exactly.
Or was it when she ran away?
But the thing is, I'm going to be honest with you. The thing is, we don't know, what's going on inside of these homes. And the youth, they really need someone to talk to them. And we just don't have, a lot of people, that's willing to stop and talk, and really talk to the youth. And wow, it's like what you just said, those 3, your daughter, 3 friends. Can you really imagine what's going on inside of their home? Nobody knows this. Your daughter, because that's her friend. But nobody probably really knows,
Well, one of the friends, she said this, because I asked her, I was like, well, did you tell your mom? You want me to talk to your mother with you? Why? I don't see her lying about it. Again, I'm not in the house. Yeah. And sometimes the girls can lie just because they don't like the guy. He could be strict, so now she could be making up something so he can leave the house. I don't know. But I asked her if she wanted me to talk to the mother with her to see how you can get back home. One, because you can't keep coming over my house. You're using up all my soap and my food, and you ain't got no food stamps or nothing. I can't keep feeding you. That's why we have one child for a reason. So, I'm asking, and she was like, her mother didn't believe her. And her mother put her out. Yeah. Instead of putting the man out. It's scary. I heard a lot of cases like that. I know people personally, family, and they don't talk to their mom for that reason. Yeah. I don't know. It's unbelievable. But no, this is really going on. Stuff like this is really going on in these homes, and the mom is protecting this guy who's a molester, and they just can't believe it. Why would your daughter lie like that, or your son?
You know.
Oh yeah, because the women be getting on the sons too. We got to stop acting like the men are the only molesters. I know a lot of men in their 30s that say how they've been touched by a woman as a child and they didn't talk about it. Yeah. So it's definitely.
But see, that leads to so. Wow, that leads to so much.
Yes, because I hate all of you. Like it just makes the grown men damage. No, that's another show.
You know what? I think for us as men, it's a little different. You know, because that's how we're taught. You know, but it messes one's mind
up sure do mess
as a man. You know, because so many things that you deal with after that, and one is. This yearn, you know, for sex. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about, I interviewed a guy, you know, shout out to Anthony Suggs, matter of fact, you know, in Alexandria out here in VA. And that's what he said, you know, because he had some issues, you know, growing up. And he said as he had gotten older, that was one of the things, like that was a demon, like just addicted to sex. Yeah. And it happens, you know what I'm saying? Like, and people don't even look into that. Like, damn, like, why is this female so... You know,
and then it's crazy because for y'all,
that can damage you.
It looks good because again, the women that are touching you are older, right?
Exactly.
So it's almost like okay, you know, great, but it causes a lot of issues, and then a lot of men cases go way unnoticed than women do. I think more women report than men, but you have a lot of men that legit have cases, but again, it's not the way.
Well, same thing with the domestic violence. I talk about it all the time. You know, I've seen men get beat up. Yes. And the thing is, as soon as you hit that female, you know, you in trouble. You this and you that. You know, and my whole thing is this is about respect. Yeah. You know, I mean, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. I mean, it's just about, you know, respect. But, you know, society and the way we're brought up, you know, don't put your hands on a female.
Definitely got to stop that because a lot of them instigate. In hopes that you wouldn't hit them back. Yeah. Put the finger in your face, talking junk all in your face. And like I always tell people, you cannot control somebody's response. It's not right for a man to hit you, but if it happens, like, what did you do too? Like, you would hope that they possess that self-control not to punch you in your eye. Yeah. But you can't be instigating something, and if that person, one, is not even in their journey on being a better person, they're not going to even acknowledge the fact of a trigger. They may not always be able to walk away. So protecting yourself is one thing. Starting something is a whole nother thing. And I always tell my daughter, don't touch nobody you don't want to touch you back. Man, woman, dog, cat, bear, it don't matter. If you don't want them to respond, leave them alone. Because it's nothing you can do about that. And I think we live in a time now where people believe that they can control people's response. It's almost like road rage. Mm-hmm. You know, you make me get into another lane, you block me off, and then somebody might shoot you. Mm-hmm. Now, is it right? It ain't right? Mm-hmm. But a sin is a sin. Like, you can't measure which one is worse, because you could have caused that person to get in a car accident. Mm-hmm. I don't think that person should take out a gun and shoot you, but if they do, again, you cannot control somebody's response. Yeah. So you just have to be mindful of how you're showing up in this world, because people are hurt. Yeah. And hurt people. We have been seeing that every day. We had 187 murders in the district. Not to include what's going on in Maryland, because Baltimore's been out of control. Yeah. So hurt people. And you can't tell somebody how to hurt you back. I can't step on your toe and be like, oh, just pinch me on my arm. You can't do that. Yeah. So we definitely got to get that together. Terrence Woods, give us a little bit of background about his case, because he's been missing since, it's been 2 years now, right?
It's 2 years now, and actually tomorrow, what's today's date? Today is the 4th. Yeah, tomorrow it's actually going to be a virtual event going on Facebook that his dad is doing. And he went missing in October 5th, 2018, Oro Grande, Idaho. And they were shooting a documentary for the declining, of, you know, gold mines in Idaho and in the mountains and things of that nature. And mysteriously just went missing with 12 other people. And he was the only African American, once again, you know, people of color. How does he just go missing, you know, with 12 people, and he just ran off? That's a report that was given to his dad. He just ran off. We tried to chase him. He just dropped his radio and dropped everything, and he just ran off. And then this crowd of people that he was with supposedly came back with their clothes ripped up and blood all over their clothes. Because it was like when he ran to, supposedly it was like a mountain, and it was just like a deep drop off of the mountain. And they were trying to chase him and grab him so he would stop, so he wouldn't continue to run. And they said he just ran, and that was it. And he was just never seen him again. Never seen him again. And then they came up with he was acting really erratic, and he had a mental breakdown throughout the day while they were filming. And maybe, that's why he just ran off. He said supposedly he had to go to the bathroom, but he ran off and dropped everything. And then they came back without him. So that's the story.
To your knowledge, has there ever been a instance where somebody did just run off and not be found? That's not a millionaire?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, that doesn't never make sense to me. Like, I watch a lot of Fatal Attraction, ID channel, and it's just strange to me how you can be with a group of people anywhere without you having the monetary means to disappear, right? We know people with monetary means can do that.
Right.
Somebody at some point will see you. You're going to pop up. Like, you just don't magically disappear when you don't have the monetary means to do so. So that is crazy. And it's been 2 years now. And like you said, nobody's been held accountable.
Nobody's been held accountable. And then the film crew, they stopped shooting, wrapped up the next day, gone, out of town, like, quick. The guy that was on Raw TV, London-based company, but also affiliated here too. And what's that? World TV? What's the place on Georgia Avenue? The big TV, whatever. But anyway, they're like sister partner companies. And this guy, that's what he told Terrence's dad. Like, yeah, your son, he had a mental breakdown and he dropped his radio and he just ran off. And me and the crew, we tried to chase him, to catch him, to stop him from running. And we never seen a guy just run that fast. And he just disappeared. And I'm like, so 12 people, he ran that fast? Like, he just ran off. Like, he's been there for a few days. This is his profession. This is what he do. He's like prominent, like really a great producer, like TV producer. And I'm trying to understand why would he just run off?
And they said like to add to it that a 76-year-old woman, Connie Johnson, also went missing the same day. But authorities maintain that the two incidents are unrelated and took place several miles apart. But she was also missing in the same gold rush area. Yeah, they had
a few people to go missing there. And he was the only black one, of course. But it was crazy because the people who had listened in on the show when I interviewed his dad, they turned the whole story around and said that we were being racist towards them. And Mr. Woods wasn't being racist. He just mentioned that I was the only person of color there. Everyone there.
But how could you be racist towards them?
Right. And I'm just trying to understand, like,
people love feeling guilty.
Well,
because reporting the story, I don't know how you can be racist unless you say those blanks did such and such and such a. But if you're reporting the story, just like Connie Johnson also went missing the same day, how is that being racist? So clearly you feel guilty about something.
Yeah.
A hit dog a holler immediately. So we're going to take a break really quickly. When we come back, though, I got to get Phil's take in